Mr. Reeves, why at that point in time didn't you just move your seats?
Well, the guy was just being mouthy. I mean, I had a career of dealing with people like that. It didn't present a threat to me. I probably didn't think about how it affected my wife, but to me, I saw no threat to it at all.
Curtis Reeves on the stand today. What a reaction online. Everyone's got an opinion. We'll get to those a little bit later in the show. But I want to show you what happened. If you missed it, Curtis Reeves, 8 years ago, shot and killed Chad Oulson. Today, he took the stand. He's claiming self-defense. We're going to show you the direct and the cross. And you make the call on whether or not you're believing what he is selling. Let's take a look.
At some point in time while you were viewing those previews, did you notice a light shining in the theater?
Yes, sir, I did. I noticed off to my right, who turned out to be Mr. Oulson's left shoulder, was a cell phone. I waited to see if he would put it away, if he was interested in what was on the screen or not. And it never went away. So I would lean over and get a little bit closer to him so that I didn't have to yell at him. I said, "Would you mind turning your phone off, sir?"
If you wanted to at that point, you could have just gone right to the manager and not had any contact with Mr. Oulson, right?
I would think that you just ask somebody and they would normally put it away. Get the out of my face was the response that I got back.
Can you tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury exactly what you told the manager?
I'm a guy complaining on another guy. I said, but I've got a guy sitting in front of me that is using his cell phone. And I said, I don't feel comfortable talking to this guy again. Could you help me out? He's still talking loudly, and he's facing away from me.
So we have the first time that you lean forward to talk about the cell phone. The second time is when you lean forward telling that you're going to the manager. Now we have a third time where you're leaning forward to basically tell him that you told on him. And obviously you didn't perceive yourself as a vulnerable person.
I don't think it had anything to do with being vulnerable.
I agree with you.
He had turned and was on his feet. I'm looking up at this guy, and he looked like a monster standing there. Something between me and the theater screen that I saw just a flash of a reflection off of. Then everything went kind of fuzzy.
Did you believe at that point that you had been hit?
Yes, sir, I did.
And you're indicating in this statement that you were hit so hard that you were dazed.
Dazed, surprised, shocked, all those things would fit that, yes, sir. At some point after he's reached, either trying to come over the seat or tried to hit me, I had no other choice, and I reached for my pistol. I never saw the popcorn until I saw it on the floor. I had no idea what had happened to the popcorn, but I was aware that he was trying to grab a hold of me.
Okay, so
and then he pitched it back. I'm not sure I saw that, but I did see him coming over the seat with his fist.
Okay.
At the instant he got shot.
Did you ever find the need while you were a law enforcement officer at TPD to have to use your weapon, fire your weapon?
No, sir.
In the line of duty?
They try to provide training programs for you so that you can kind of get your feet on the ground and try to keep from becoming a victim and be alert and all the things that you have to do to survive and make it home every afternoon.
Did you shoot Mr. Oulson because of popcorn?
I shot Mr. Oulson because I thought he was going to seriously injure me or potentially kill me.
And you said, as I'm sitting back in here, I'm second guessing myself.
Oh,
Did he even hit me?
Yes, sir. I've second guessing it for the last 8 years.
Unbelievable. A lot of people talking about his demeanor as well. Let's bring in Court TV legal correspondent Julie Janae joining us live from Pasco County, Florida. Julie, great to see you tonight. What a big day inside that courtroom. What were some of your takeaways from this testimony, which lasted for hours?
Oh, Vinny, that he enjoyed his time as a law enforcement officer, that he was in constant pain in his retirement when it comes to his joints and the arthritis. And he also testified that all important, almost the magic words of self-defense, that he feared for his life or serious bodily harm when he was then confronted with Chad Oulson. He talked in a way that really engaged, it seemed, these jurors on direct. You could hear the pride in his voice. He said you don't understand the criminal element, the depth of it, until you're face to face with it. And these jurors, they were taking notes when he was talking about that background. He decided to begin his testimony with that background. Then he moved to his medical ailments, the things he has difficulty doing. He said he really is, even back then, in a lot of pain all the time and tries to keep active to keep from letting that get to him. And then he described this incident, and he really went in after Chad Oulson and his demeanor. He said that in all of his years in law enforcement, he hadn't dealt with someone with that much uncontrollable rage. He said he'd never been in that position. He said he'd actually never fired his weapon in the many decades that he was in law enforcement. And then on cross, prosecution was able to score some points in pointing out the differences in his testimony today on the stand compared to what he said to police back in 2014. That was the risk of coming and taking the stand when he had made that statement back right when this happened without a lawyer. In particular, there was a point that I saw jurors paying attention to, one woman even bringing out her notebook and writing almost in the air with it. So it was very clear that she was making note of this on the jury. What he did when he came back to the movie theater after going to the lobby, telling the manager there that Chad Oulson was texting, whether or not he was the first one to speak or if Chad Oulson was the first one to speak.
Was he accusing you of turning him into the manager?
I kind of interpreted it as that, but I didn't hear those exact words. It was, I think he was trying to relay that he was not happy.
Okay, and then what did you do at this point?
I tried to, I think the word is diffuse the situation, so I made a comment to him about if I had known that you had put your phone away, I wouldn't have involved the manager.
There on the stand, he said that it was first Chad Oulson who was talking loudly and really seeming to be unhappy with what he had done, but the prosecutor then showed him this transcript of his own interview with police where he stated that when he came back into the movie and the guy, Chad Oulson, had put his phone away and I went by, I said, "I see you put it away." I told the manager for no reason. In other words, I went in and ratted him out. It seemed clear from that transcript that he was telling police that as soon as he came in, he noticed the phone was put away and he was the first one to make that statement. There were several points during his testimony that the prosecutor was able to raise some of these things that were different today in court than they were 8 years ago. We also caught up with the attorney for Nicole Oulson. She's been sitting there in the courtroom. TJ Grimaldi sitting next to her today, relaying how she was feeling seeing this man on the stand calling her husband a monster. You're sitting there next to Nicole Oulson. She's watching this, really keeping amazing composure during a lot of it, but there were moments where she's just seemingly incredulous at the things that are coming out of the defendant's mouth. What were you seeing or noticing from her sitting next to her?
So I think everyone has to realize that it's been 8 years, and while she didn't sit there and sob, it's because she's had this situation. She's dealt with it. She's relived it. She's relived it again. She's relived it again. She's had to talk about it over and over again, whether it's with media or in court. And so internally, she was flipping out. Internally, she couldn't stand to hear what Curtis Reeves was saying and the lies that were coming out of his mouth. Outside, she knows that it's for Chad, and she needs to try to keep a strong exterior.
You were there for the Stand Your Ground hearing, and you know the testimony that was in that one. Did he describe Chad as a monster the way he did today to the jury?
He was much more demonstrative today about this supposed violent attack. To me, it appears as though this attack by Chad, or these claimed attacks by Chad, have escalated throughout the 8 years. They've gotten more and more significant, more and more problematic, because I think that they realize that they have to make up for the problem of the conflicting statement.
Vinny, this jury is going to hear closing arguments tomorrow. Then they'll get to start deliberating, but there's still a question of whether or not they're going to deliberate into the weekend if they don't come back with a verdict tomorrow. The state says if they have to go past Friday, they want them sequestered until they reach a verdict.
Amazing day inside that courtroom. Julie Janae, great reporting. Thank you so much. Let's bring back in our think tank, Renee Hill, Jennifer Brandt, Molly Palmer with us. Jennifer Brandt, what do you think? Did Reeves save himself today?
You know, I don't know if he saved himself, but I think he did a really good job. I mean, the best that I think he could have done under these circumstances. He came in, you know, he looked with the cane and everything like that. Now, I know this was 8 years ago that the incident took place, but we're all seeing him today, and he looks like an elderly man hobbling in to the witness box. And then he was very articulate on the stand. I mean, I think he's pretty experienced. Maybe he testified before, but he definitely seemed to know what he was saying and doing and was calm. And I think he did a really good job for himself. I don't know if he saved the day, but I think he did a good job.
All right, we're going to talk more about his testimony in just a minute.